And it's so great to have so many of you RSVP and show up for this. We've got some real great energy and some great minds in the room from all sorts of avenues of economic development around the region. And we're really pleased to have you all here. So thank you also. WestfordCAT is filming this. So thank you to WestfordCAT for showing up and documenting this great event. And I would like to acknowledge the hardworking elected officials who are here or on their way. Representing the office of Congresswoman Lori Trahan, we will have Jackie Martin. If she's not here yet, she should be showing up shortly. We have Susan Templeton here. I saw you a second ago, right there with the lively vest on, representing State Senator John Cronin's office. We have Mass Office of Business Development, whereas Peter Milano is here, right up front. And we have Gita Romani from Mass Development here, so thank you for coming. And then Kristen Lass, our town manager, and several of our town folks. We've got Jeff Morissette, assistant town manager for land use and economic development. And we've got Joe Jinowitz here also, who is town planner. And then all of my great colleagues from Westford's Economic Development Committee. So thank you all for being here. And, you know, as you can see, well, the new logo isn't up here, but if you've seen our logo, it represents technology in the form of a circuit board. And then we've got the little apple, it's a tree, and it's a nod to Westford's past as an agricultural apple orchard town. So how fitting that we have this on Pie Day, and now we're calling it Apple Pie Day.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to see you all on a beautiful March day. It's not snowing, it's not raining, it's not super windy, so thank you for coming out. I'd also like to recognize Anita Tartagan-Wen, who's in the room on behalf of Representative Jim Arciero, and also thank you to the other legislative representatives. We really appreciate you taking the time today. I'd also like to thank the members of the Economic Development Committee for the town of Westford. If you could just all stand if you're an Economic Development Committee member. They are working tirelessly as volunteers to make sure that Westford is the best place to do business in the region. And they come together once a month in our board and committee meetings. Those are open to the public, held at Town Hall. You're welcome to attend. If you are a Westford resident and have interest on the committee as well, there are some openings from time to time. So thank you so much for your time and dedication. They do a ton of work outside of those monthly meetings as well. I'd also like to thank Jeff Morissette and Joe Jinowitz of the Land Use Department as they tirelessly support the Economic Development Committee. They also support our other land use boards, the Planning Board, Zoning Board, and Conservation Commission, as well as liaison with the Building Inspector's Office. And without those boards and committees and those staff, we wouldn't have the buildings and the development that we have in Westford today. So I really want to thank them for their efforts. I'd also like to thank Trost. They have been our economic development consultant for several months now, and thank the Select Board for authorizing ARPA funding to make sure that we have proper economic development consulting services for the town of Westford, as we currently don't have someone on staff. Unfortunately, the Select Board members were unable to attend today due to work commitments and other commitments, but they fully support the efforts that we have going on today, and again, just want to thank them. So Westford's in a unique situation for our redevelopment, I guess you can say, related to economic development. We saw booms for office buildings like we're in today. We've seen booming of single-family housing developments in town, and things are changing right now with the way that we're doing work, with the way the industries are going. We see that it's a prime time to reinvent ourselves in terms of economic development, and the Economic Development Commission and our consultants and our staff are really doing a great job to that. We also benefit from our location. We're right in the middle of the 495 area as well as the Route 3 area. And I'm proud to say that the town of Westford is a member of the 495 Metro West Partnership. Jason Palich, the executive director, is here today, as well as Middlesex 3 Coalition, and Stephanie Cronin is here today as well. And I'm proudly serving on both of those boards to make sure that Westford receives the accolades that it deserves, as well as we have the press that we need, and we move forward with the issues that Westford sees on a daily basis. So thank you both for coming to the event today as well and showing your support to the town of Westford. I'm really proud to say that over the past year, the town of Westford has really focused on what our needs and desires are from a residential and business perspective through the preparation and the compilation of our first ever townwide strategic plan. Many of you are in business, and preparing and following a strategic plan is your way of life, right? But for a municipality, it's often not the forefront. We're triaging resident concerns, budget concerns, other issues, and often don't take the time to step back, survey our residents, survey our business owners of what are those important things to the community today and into the future. How do we want to see ourselves in the future, and how do we get to that? So I'm proud to say that the Select Board has adopted the first ever townwide strategic plan as of February of 2025. Our strategic outcome areas are built on the pillars of responsive and responsible town government, quality educational opportunities, caring and engaged community, commitment to environmental sustainability and climate action, opportunities for recreation and preservation of open space, diverse and attainable housing options, and then today what we're here for is intentional and appropriate economic growth. What that means for the town of Westford right now and into the future is that Westford is a traditional New England town that preserves its historic town center and neighborhood villages. Many of you may be familiar with our villages. The town is committed to promoting an environment along our commercial corridors, 110 being one of them, where unique and local businesses can thrive. And Westford encourages economic growth and a diverse tax base. So the Economic Development Commission, the Select Board, the town staff are taking this to heart and moving forward with several strategies over the next few years to come to that vision. We want to identify and evaluate locations in town that are conducive to economic development. We want to review our town policies to identify opportunities to become more business friendly. We want to develop an engagement plan to understand resident preferences and balance between growth and preservation, which we know is important. And we want to explore tax incentive programs and promote existing programs for commercial and residential taxpayers. So again, since we just adopted the plan, we're in the very early stages of this, but taking the step to have an economic development consultant to gather business owners and interested parties in the region, that is helping us promote our strategic outcome areas towards economic development. Some of the things that we hope to measure over the course of the next few years, and there'll be other measurements as well, is our year-over-year growth in our commercial tax rate. Right now, our commercial tax rate is tax revenue is under 10% of our overall revenue. It's primarily residential. So one of our goals is to bring up that tax base for commercial and industrial properties. We want to look at the percentage increase of our community survey respondents satisfied with the pace of economic growth compared to the previous year. So are we growing our economy at a pace that is palatable or meets the expectations of our residents? And we're looking at annual growth in small businesses. We know that small businesses drive the economy, especially in this region, and we really appreciate their support. So those are just some of the areas we're going to be developing more over the course of the next few months, and we hope that you join us with that. So with that, I will turn it back over to Cheryl to introduce our economic development consultant, Trost Advisory. Thank you.
And thank you, Kristen, for setting the table. So I just want to step into a focus on what is Discover Westford and share with you what we're hoping to accomplish. So first and foremost, it's, as noted, an outreach to existing businesses. We want to offer a primary contact for inquiry. So we want to enter into a phase now where we're connecting more closely at the business level, individual business level. We want to hear what you have to say. As Kristen alluded to, we want to evaluate the potential for financial assistance opportunities, and that would be not only for potentially for larger businesses, but also for small businesses. How can they get support? What programs might be available to them? And then to build on these partnerships that Kristen mentioned, local, regional, statewide, even federal partnerships that are essential to success in a regional economy. As Cheryl mentioned, we have a new brand for Discover Westford, and in addition to it being a distinct entity, we also wanted to offer some distinct information for businesses. So We're in the process of adding, hopefully, a web page that will be focused on businesses and available resources that would be up on the web. There have been generation of some resources. We want to pull those resources together into a Westford Business Toolkit. So it's an identity, but it's also, importantly, about information. And then, as Cheryl mentioned, this is the logo. It is a nod to technology and also to the historic role that Westford has in the Neshoba apple corridor historically. And we'll talk more about that promotion in a bit. But I wanted to just talk about the why Westford and what is critical, the critical assets that Westford offers. So first of all, we know Massachusetts offers a highly educated workforce. That's the reason a lot of companies come to Massachusetts to grow their business. And what I wanted to show with this slide, thanks to the 495 partnership, is that the 495 region is also extremely highly educated, and Westford also plays a role of excellence in that as well. So the workforce is obviously a key component. I wanted to also talk a little bit about comparative advantage. You can see, it may be a little difficult to see, but out of a labor force of a little over 13,000, 3,000 or 15% of the employment are in professional and technical services. So that is an outstanding concentration of expertise. Also want to point out that Westford has an excellent manufacturing base, 1,800 jobs. It's probably 1.5 times the national average, 2 times the state average. And then we have a very robust economy in retail and food services, and that is an important ingredient to continuing to grow that, because people have those skills in Westford. So comparative advantage, important. I also want to point out, I was speaking with some of the brokers earlier, but Westford has a very diverse property mix. I mean, depending on pretty much any kind of business that wants to locate or grow in Westford, they have property that can meet the needs of that business, from commercial office to retail, professional, and medical office, industrial, as I mentioned. Kristen also alluded to our location. Westford has an outstanding location. The business districts are essentially in the south, where we are now, along the 110 corridor, which runs parallel to 495, and then to the north, the Route 40 corridor, which connects to Route 3 to the east. And then at the heart of it is the historic business districts of Westford, the old mill districts, and that has been a long-standing business area, and we're hoping to see even more opportunities developing there in that district. So again, highly educated workforce, competitive advantage in terms of the skills and the industries, commercial real estate diversity, and really an outstanding location. So, you know, we say in this, our new branding, that Westford is a hub for growth, and I just wanted to run through these quickly. You can see the kinds of technology companies that are here. So a hub for the tech sector, a retail hub, as I mentioned. We have some great large and small retailers here in Westford, a dining and destination hub, a lot of great restaurants. We also have Neshoba Valley in Westford, and anybody within 50 miles of Kimball Farms knows that You cannot order a large ice cream at Kimball Farms and eat it all. At least I don't advise it at one sitting. I mentioned something, again, really, I think, unique to Westford is the industrial and manufacturing businesses that we have here. And they're in both the northern and southern corridors. We have a lot of larger and smaller companies. You're going to hear from BTU in a little bit. Professional office and medical care hub. You really can find medical services across the life spectrum in Westford. I think it's pretty amazing the kind of medical professional services and professional offices that Westford offers. And then, you know, your money is certainly a safe place in Westford. We have a lot of financial institutions here, and so if you do grow your business here, there's a lot of opportunity to support that in Westford. So I guess I want to kind of close by saying, discover Westford. Why is this important? I think it's about building on existing strengths. It's promoting those strengths within the community. As Kristen said, you know, this is an engaged community in the process. They don't see themselves as separate from the business community. They see themselves as part of it. And sharing those strengths outside the community, I think that's really important for businesses that don't know about Westford, you know, how it differs from other communities outside of Boston, within the 495 community, and in Massachusetts at large. And then I think, as Kristen said, really the ultimately meeting the goals of intentional and appropriate growth, and we're going to really want to push forward with that. So what's next? I mentioned we want to get up with a web presence and a business resource guide. I want to thank, again, Mary Lynn, my colleague, who has been working on the marketing and branding and also will be helping with those communications. I mentioned the goal to get connected with you one-on-one, so anybody who wants to talk specifically about their needs in Westford, please come and see me. My job is to be all ears to what your interests are here. We want to continue to do events like this and engage with the business community and engage with the different kinds of business communities, larger, smaller, and you're going to hear from them. And then we're also have the notion that we're going to create some stakeholder groups. We want to bring together large office users, manufacturers, the real estate community in separate kind of talking groups to find out what they think, how they feel about doing business in Westford, how could we do better, and that's going to be part of our work. So at this point, I'm going to turn it back to Cheryl to introduce the panel. I want you to hear from the businesses directly, but thank you all for coming.
We're gonna